We'll call the meeting to order and advise that the meeting is being video recorded and live streamed. I ask if there's a disclosure of interest. As there is none, we have a resolution to adopt the agenda as amended with the addition of 6.1 or 6, yes, 1, Report of Municipal Officers, Report number 2026.117, MTO-WSP, June 18th, Public Information Center debriefing. Okay, anything more to add or take away? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We have no deputations this morning. We have a resolution to approve the minutes of the special council meeting held on June the 8th. Were there any errors or omissions? It was moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Any discussion on any item of those minutes, page 11 to 14? No. Okay, we have a resolution that was moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the council meeting held on June the 9th. Were there any errors or omissions? All in favor of the minutes as presented? Opposed? Carried. Was there any discussion on any items in that meeting, page 15 to 34? Okay. And then we have the minutes of the special council meeting held on June 15th. It's been moved and seconded to approve those minutes as presented. Were there any errors or omissions, page 35 to 38? All in favor of the minutes as presented? Opposed? Carried. Any discussion on those minutes? Any item on those minutes? All righty, you now have the reports of municipal officers. The first one is the bylaw enforcement. We have a report here from our bylaw enforcement officer for May, and she is here this morning. So if there's any questions in regards to any of the items, or if there's anything that you would like to enhance other than what you've written in here, which is a very well done report. Any questions, Councillor Viss?
First clarification, miscellaneous complaint number 2 is noise pollution, motorized vehicles on industrial noise and highway 130.
Okay, it's just a complaint about some noise that's occurring. So noise is occurring in the neighboring area there, and there's, I guess, a lot of ongoing noise throughout the day.
Why she's not on the highway, it's on private?
Yes, it's on private property, yeah.
Yeah, well, the highway 130, that's okay. I understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Again, miscellaneous complaints. Number 1, I note that on the weekend, there was the Baldheim or the fairgrounds were used for motorized racetrack for motorcycles and dirt bikes. And just wondering that was, if anybody knew, was it strictly on their land? Like they weren't on municipal properties? Because we do have that sign that says that dirt bikes aren't allowed on municipal property. So
Yeah, apparently they were driving there.
okay, thank you.
Anything else? No. Anything further you'd like to add? No,
So, no, thank you.
everything's going fine.
Yeah,
It's a nice,
great.
quiet municipality,
It's
except
great,
for these
yes,
people.
it's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
The next item is a report with a resolution that's been moved and seconded to award the RFP 24-2026 Office Airflow Study be awarded to BACX Incorporated, Bell Armstrong Commissioning. It's open for discussion. Councillor Kamphoff?
So I'm assuming this is to try to identify challenges or problems in the airflow in this building and come up with plans to rectify them.
Yes, that's correct. We'll get a report that says what the hotspots are and what proposed solutions are with a class 3 estimate.
Councillor Peacock?
And just to confirm, this is under budget at the present time?
Page 42 of the report says we had $7,000 authorized for the
Yep.
project and we're at 5,502 approximate HST included.
Okay, thank you.
Again, it's been moved and seconded. I call a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item is a awarding of the RFP 2026 Red Barn Structural Life Safety and Industrial Hygiene Assessment to be awarded to R&R Engineering. This is, of course, at the location of the museum. Councillor Kamphoff?
Did we have a budget amount for this item? Or an idea even? Thought? No? Guess?
I think we estimated or guesstimated 30,000, something in that neighborhood. So this price is much lower, but the other people were over that, but
Yeah. Councillor Viss?
Well, when I read this, I thought, thank goodness, maybe we're finally able to decide what we can do with this. And just a short thought, if we're sitting there and hopefully they either declare it that we have to take it down or at least enter it and clean it up. So I'm all for that, just get it done. We've got reserves, so we use it for that.
Yeah, it's coming out of the Museum Reserve Fund. Any further questions or comments? Okay, so it has been moved and seconded, and I'll call a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we have a report in regards to the 2026 to 2030 Provincial Mutual Aid Plan. We will be getting more detail on July the 14th, but it was here to read and look at, and our fire chief is here. So if you have any questions in regards to the report, he's all ready to answer them. Councillor Viss.
Just a few comments, not really questions. I don't think I would write to the report, and I guess, the detail would be the fire chief and the appointment, because mutual aid, it says here, where a group of organizations assist one another, concept neighbors helping neighbors. We said that all along. So you look through here, then this is interesting, and I guess that's for the owners will come back to the fire chief, is the training level of participants should be maintained according to with whatever all is, okay? And I think sometimes we have a bit of problem between one organization and the other. And all firefighters responding to MAP are adequately trained. Again, there's the same kind of a thing. So I guess the onus gets to be on the fire chief is, should we be doing what we're doing with other fire department? Are they trained well and so on and so forth? And then, of course, here, and this is the key, I think it says fire chief or designated refuel supply. That's a real good thing that that's in here, because then that takes that safety onus away from you. So, yeah, and anyway, and it's like an example, I right here, an aerial ladder truck. That doesn't mean because if they have to come. That you can't force them to do that. So I think what I read through here, I thought it was pretty good. So as long as the fire chief is comfortable with what's in here, that he can enforce it, I think it's a good thing from what I'm reading through here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bring a report that's more detailed with respect to the changes. And we do have to put a bylaw that authorizes us to participate in the mutual aid. So that's gonna be the July 14th. But you're right, there's some significant changes in the wording in this. And it's going to be challenging for everybody to go through and be part of mutual aid with what's written in there. My personal opinion on it is that it's a good thing, but it's going to be a rocky road, I think, for the next little while with meeting the requirements in the mutual aid plan.
That's what I was afraid of too, Sean, when I read through there. I said, oh, good grief.
Right?
and to follow up on what the chief said, if you look on page 51, there's section 1.5 that says fire departments involved in the mutual aid need to be certified according to the Ontario Regulations 34322. So the OFM is serious about being certified firefighter.
Yeah.
I will add, it has sparked quite a bit of conversation at the Mutual Aid Association meeting last week, and some discussion amongst fire chiefs as to how this is going to roll out. So
Barb.
I have one further question, if I may. Now, having said all this, I don't know if it's a fair question. Are you comfortable when you have to refuse some other municipalities? Because that's what's going to happen. They're certainly not up to all the standards that we are, and then it'll be you to have to make the call. Are you comfortable with that? I would be a little nervous, you see, and have to do that.
Comfort is an interesting word.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with a lot of things we do, but I accept the risk on it. This has been a discussion point that I've been bringing up with the chiefs for a long time. And it's just got to the next level of discussion. We actually talked about it at the officers meeting last night, and I think my officers group is in full agreement that we have to start
Okay.
saying we gotta follow the mutual aid plan. If you don't have a tanker, we decide whether we're gonna send a tanker or not. And the discussion was around the moral questions about we need to help people, but it has to be reciprocating, and we have to protect our own house first. So there's gonna be some tough decisions, I think, coming in the future. Am I comfortable? I'm comfortable with where we're sitting. And I don't have an issue making the hard decision to say, no, I'm not coming.
Because it's a bit confusing when I read the very first part, neighbor helping neighbor, and all of a sudden, they wait a minute, I'm not helping my neighbor. And that's my question, I guess, to you. You have to make that decision. I think that's quite a load on someone to put.
And I always take the approach is that I'm willing to help you if you're willing to help yourself. And I think that's a big part of it. I have no issue saying no if it's just you come and do it for us. I've got no issue saying no to that. We're not, this isn't the zone fire department, OP. We are one of the fire departments in the zone and we have to work together. And I think that, if people are making steps to correct their own issues, including ourselves, then it's neighbors helping neighbors. But if there's no work to clean your own house up, then I'm sorry, it's not brand new. This is not something I haven't said for a long time.
Councillor Calvert?
I have to reiterate that too, and I think there was a good discussion last night during the meeting about that and which way we're going here with it and what the other part of the thing is what their departments need to do to, to be able to reciprocate back and forth. And it was a very good discussion.
Councillor Peacock and then Councillor Campoff.
Thank you. Just in case we got a call where there is a neighboring municipality that requires equipment and whether our department is busy or whatever, and we aren't able to send someone, then would you respond to like the first page out and say, we can't go, or is it mutual aid? Do they call you directly?
So there is a process and it's gotten cleaned up quite a bit in the last couple of years. The process is the first call, you call CAC and they page us. And we respond based on availability. So if we have another call going on and we can't go, then it's a call to CAC to say we can't go, we're committed. There's also an obligation to talk to the zone coordinator and the district coordinator. So if we're unable to respond to a call, then it goes to the zone, and then the zone the coordinator, starts saying, okay, OP can't go because they got something going on. Who's the next available department that can? That has, I will say, the zone has done a lot of good work on cleaning that up, and it's actually working quite well. So yeah, it could be that we're overwhelmed. It could be we don't have enough people to protect back home. It could be a bunch of factors.
Councillor Campoff?
Yeah, so I read through the report, but not having the previous, or the plan rather, not having the previous plan to compare to. So would you say that this plan is possibly giving you better tools to clarify all those challenges that are potentially could happen with other departments? Maybe not being up to where they need to be with certification or whatever?
Short answer, yes.
Yeah,
It clarifies and it defines a little bit better. And my intent was to put that comparison in this report. The OFM was working on an executive summary that did this has changed, and I didn't get it in time. That's why it got pushed. So I will have an executive summary that kind of says the old plan said this, the new plan said this. Overall, it's positive and it clears, it gives some direction.
Okay, any further questions on the report? And as the fire chief said, we will be getting a further report on this at our next meeting. The next item is the mandatory certification update. And this again, the fire chief will give us an update on the progress that we have in respect to firefighter certification.
Yeah, so this is more just an FYI. I didn't get into detail on our numbers. I will say that we will meet the intent of certification. Doesn't mean that we're 100% certified. It means that we've got people certified in all the disciplines as per our enabling bylaw, that we can effectively respond to that level of service. So that's really the intent of this. July 1st is a couple days away, and but I did bring it up at the zone meeting, asking where other departments are at with their certification, and it sparked a meeting to try and talk about where everybody is, so that when we request, we know what we're requesting and what's coming. What was the other thing I put in here? Yeah, interesting, our advisor is from the OFM has called me several times in the last couple of weeks with specific questions with respect to certification. Are you gonna meet it? What are your numbers? You know, so it's on the OFM's radar, and they're calling all the departments. Our profile, which I update every year, has got a whole section on numbers of people that are certified and trained. So they're collecting data for sure on where departments are. Where it's gonna go, I don't know, but it's on the radar. And then lastly, there's an interesting article that Deputy Chief of Operations sent out, and it's in the package, or I didn't put the whole thing, but it's from Fire Engineering, and it's a US based magazine, but they're talking about baseline certification and how it's important to do it, and they reference line of duty deaths and a whole bunch of stuff. And I just thought it was interesting that Ontario is actually 2 or 3 steps ahead of all that, and the regulation actually deals with the concerns that they're bringing up down in the US. So I thought it was interesting that it's on the topic of discussion everywhere with respect to baseline certification.
Councillor Viss?
Yeah, just one thing that when I was reading through this, it was just wonderful to read that. That was very good, that we're up to where we should be. The problem with that is we train all these, and young people are starting to join us now, and they get the certificate. You know what? They got the first chance to get working for a paid fire department. And when I read this, I said, that's where we're going to end up, folks.
It's always been like that,
I could
yes.
see that coming. Well, especially now that, the level of certification they need. Boy, can you imagine when you fill out your form to go say, let's use City of Thunder Bay. You're a shoo-in compared to the average guy on the road.
So then that's a valid point. We've had that challenge for a number of years. The saving grace is that it's a valuable ticket, but there's a lot of people with the tickets now.
Oh,
So the competition has gone up, and there is a bit of an advantage, this is my opinion, bit of an advantage, but not enough that everybody wants to be a city firefighter, whether it's Thunder Bay or Calgary or whatever, but there's a very few number of positions with a very high volume of applications.
Good.
So it is always a challenge, but it's kind of the good with the bad. And my opinion is we get them on, if we get a couple of years, then we've got some value out of it.
Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. With regard to the requirements of the OFM, what is the minimum that a firefighter has to have to be qualified to respond to an incident? Like, there's so many courses that are available. Is it just firefighter 1, firefighter 2, and that's it? Then they're good to go? Or are there other things that are needed?
So the regulation, says that you have to be certified in the functions that you're providing under the, enabling bylaw. And, there is clauses in there that people can work under the direction of certified people. I think to answer the question, it's really based on the enabling bylaw and the policies and procedures that the department puts in place. So the regulation doesn't say you have to be certified in all the functions that the fire department does. But our enabling bylaw and our officers group has said that to be a firefighter on our department, you have to be certified in these functions. So I don't know if that answers the question, but the regulation won't tell you clearly what you have to have. It's really up to the fire department through the enabling bylaw through council.
Okay, Councillor Campo?
Just go back to a topic of discussion between the fire chief and Councillor Viss. So, I mean, there's not every new person on the fire department has a desire to go get a full-time job on a full-time department. So like, is that, I'm just curious, is it a significant portion of the people? Is it a small portion of the people? Is it almost everybody?
It's not everybody for sure. I'd have to go back and look at numbers, but probably 20% of them will say, my goal is to be a firefighter on the city. And so it's not, the last go around, it was, I think there was only one person that said they wanted to get on in the city and the city of Thunder Bay. And I go, okay, that's fine. But I know they're only hiring 5 people this year. There's 1,500 applications for
Right.
5 positions. So, but it's not like every single person is coming just to get the training.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you very much. The next item we have on our agenda is the ERO posting. And it's a resolution that authorizes administration to submit the comments that we have in our package here, page 72 to 76. And our planner is here if you have any questions in regards to these comments. Councillor Viss.
Yeah, just for clarification, when it says monetary penalties, examples may include. So my question there is, if we find someone that's not abiding by the regulation, do we give them an opportunity to clear up the issue for a certain time? And, you know, you give them 2-3 weeks, you say, well, you gotta quit whatever you're doing, or do you, raise them at the first call?
It doesn't say anything about that. I think that would be dependent on what council decides to put in the bylaw.
Well, I would like to see at least give people a chance, like when you do
Absolutely.
something, and we all like to be treated that way. So
Yeah.
hopefully we consider that, and then I think that'll be it. And then I have no problem with it, so.
Yeah.
Councillor Peacock.
Thank you. Would this not be something that the bylaw enforcement officer would be involved in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, I would.
So you,
There's a bylaw.
okay.
These are comments that are going to the province. Is that correct, Gary?
Yeah, this is just the posting to tell us what they're looking at doing.
Yeah, and you're commenting.
The
back
comments
to
are
them.
mostly questions because there's just not quite enough information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yes, Wayne?
Yes, we already have administrative penalty bylaw. We put it in place to enforce the racing bylaw. So how it works is once you have the administrative penalty bylaw, you determine penalties for other bylaws that you want to have under it. And then you need to amend your administrative penalty bylaw. We have to add zoning bylaw 01 2000 and whatever it was. And then you'd have to have specified what the little what the infractions are and what the penalties are. Because that's what we have right now for the racing bylaw.
Yes, Sean?
Yeah, the AMPs or administrative penalties are also in the fire code. So it is something I have spoke with Wayne about to get those into our administrative penalty bylaw to start enforcing through that option as well.
Councillor Kempoff?
Just like to give credit to Carrie in the report for pointing out some of the challenges with the bylaw, because I mean, it's sometimes it's easy for enforcement to default to the strongest rules and stuff. So thank you for identifying that. Yeah, there's a lot of challenges with legislation that they haven't outlined. What's punitive, things like that. So, I mean, I don't think, I mean, it'd be easy to say, oh, everybody gets a $10,000 fine, but
The other concern too, number 4 on page 73, the no double enforcement raises a little concern, because if we do a couple penalty non-punitive fees and they pay them and it continues, this says that we can't go to court. There's nothing else that we can do after that, which I could see being a problem.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Especially
it's
if
not.
the fine is
yeah.
punitive and then they go, well, I paid that, so now. I
yeah,
can
well,
just
that's,
do
yeah,
what-
that was my
It's the missing information.
first thought. Oh, it's just a cost of doing business then, right?
Okay, anything else? Okay, so we do have the resolution that was moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item is report number 2026.112, which is to declare surplus some of the kitchen items that are at the Duke Hunt Museum. Interesting list is right. I was looking at the list too. Yes, Councillor Peacock.
I'm just wondering if any of our halls or the Norwest Arena or anything need any of these items before they get out for possible sale.
Through the chair, that'll be decided once they're declared surplus. We will go through an inventory and kind of take what we need to supplement our other operations.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Councillor Campoff.
So I see straws listed. Are these plastic straws?
Collectibles.
Have some black market value there. It's,
Right, there'd be a lot of it out in the rock, so sitting around like muffin shades and all that.
It could be. It
But
could
you never
be.
know.
Okay. So we do have the resolution that was moved and seconded. Any further questions or comments? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item is horse-drawn rides at Oliver Papunj Heritage Park, and it is a long resolution, but it has been moved and seconded. Report 79 to 84. So I'm sure there'll be some comments on this. Yes, Councillor
If I
Viss.
may, for sure. I think it's just something else that will add to the possibility of renting out or the Heritage Park. And so as long as I think it's lined out here, the insurance is the key thing. And as long as that's all in place, and I believe that hard-drawn outfit here, I've seen them in the city going around. So they got to have insurance, otherwise they wouldn't have. So I'm in favor of that. I have no problem.
Okay, Councillor Peacock.
Thank you. And I did clarify with Wayne, I know that the 29th of July is a Wednesday when the park isn't open, but that there have been provisions for after hours for fee charges, et cetera. So,
I'm sure.
so after, thank you.
Yes, Wayne.
Just wanted to comment that I believe it was June 17th, the Abbott company provided a certificate of insurance that suits our needs.
Okay, any more? All right, so we do have a resolution that's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Just one thing, you will notify the lady that it's okay to have because she's called me and I said it'll be at the meeting. So thank you.
Okay, the next item is for your information. It's Bill 97, the Freedom of Information Requirements. It's all another wonderful suggestion by the province for us as municipalities. I will pass all the questions onto this towards Wayne. So if you have any questions on this, or Wayne, if you have anything to bring forward further on this.
Just wanted to comment that on June 18th, this new ministry, I'll have to read it out, the Ministry of Public and Business Service Delivery and Procurement So they got 6 letters in their acronym. They said, they're going to be providing, quote, guidance and implementation supports. So I don't know what that means, but, you know, this is a tall order in my book to try to meet what they're talking about here. For us, it'll be difficult enough, but for some of the, you know, 2-horse, small municipalities, by January 1, 27.
Difficult to meet, Councillor Kempoff.
Doesn't our provincial government also have a ministry of red tape reduction?
Oh, they forgot that.
Do we,
Yes.
that's,
Ms.
we
Calvert.
get a lot of requests now for,
They're picking up, but we don't get a lot.
yeah.
But,
Does take considerable amount of time depending on what they're asking.
yeah, they do.
Takes time. I'm sorry, Sean.
Yeah, I have noticed the fire department's getting more and more requests for information. Whether it actually follows into this FOI stuff is unknown, but I'm getting more and more people requesting, and a lot of times I don't know if it falls into this or not, so it's a growing problem.
It does.
Councillor Peacock?
Would that be for insurance purpose requests or other items? Or incidents?
For insurance, it's for incidents, it's for purchases, it's for compliance, like inspections. There's a lot of different.
Councillor Viss?
Yeah, just, and guess you know where I'm going with you, and I had that discussion with those private people that had issues on timeframes and so on forth. Will this require to put GPSs in trucks so that we can say, here it is, this is the time we left, this is the time we're there? Because otherwise it's him versus her. And so we have our trucks, I understand our road, we know, somebody said, no, here it says, we may, for the safety of the fire department, may have to look at that, because that question was, and I think it was for insurance related money. Why else would they be so concerned about a minute or two here or there? And so I don't want to solve who it is, but I mean, you see what you know exactly where I'm going. So what do you think of that? Do we need to look at that?
Well, it's always something that we evaluate. Right now, time stamping comes through CAC when we call in. So we do have official documented timestamps. We do have dash cams in the truck that are time stamped, and on incidents, I do go in and download the dash cams. So we do have information, but it is something to look at. Yeah, it's a
Well, it just
possibility.
protects you for our fire department, you know, I mean, it depends who it is, you know, some people get pretty stubborn and put you in a terrible position. And so if there's something we need to, so that you can help and prevent that, I think we need to be really looking at that. But I don't know, just a suggestion. I was thinking about when I read this, and I remember that call. And I said, why are you wanting all that detailed information? And so I just passed it on, of course, to Sean. I said, well, you know, so.
Mhm. Yeah, it's something we can put on the radar to look at.
Okay.
Councillor Peacock?
And the same could be said for the Public Works Department as well. You know, somebody said, you know, this isn't, when was the last time the road was looked after and things like that. So they don't have the ability to timestamp where everybody was at what time, as opposed to the CAC providing information. So,
You
Through the
do.
chair, we do
Sure.
have that capability
okay,
on all our public works vehicles.
okay, good.
I thought so. When I read this, I thought we're protected there for sure.
Mhm.
Okay. Ooh, next item on the agenda is a new asset management plan, which we were given to read this weekend. We have been asked to recommend that the asset management plan is now presented to council and that it would be approved as our formal 2026 asset management plan. And I'm going to pass this. Oh, I'm passing it to Wayne, I guess.
Well, all I wanted to do is comment that we need to put as amended in this resolution.
Okay.
So I'll do that now. There's Councillor Viss and Calvert. And the reason why is that there's some errors, not huge ones, but some numbers in here. There's a couple of instances, or an omission and an error. and I'll explain what it is. Now, if you look at the page, and there's a corresponding page in the book, of course, page 94 in your package. So page 94 says the replacement cost for assets is 159.6 million. That's wrong. It's 134.7 million. And that's what's in the plan. But here we have you see on page 95, it says the number 159 million and change. If you add all those numbers up, it's 134,726. So in the compilation, we got that, missed that. So again, on page 94, instead of 159.6 million, it's supposed to be 134.7 million. And the replacement cost per person again changes. That should be $22,324. So that's one spot where we need to make an amendment. We'll do that in the official or the official copy of this but the one in that you've got today, of course, has those errors. And the other slight problem we have, if you look on page 17 of your plan, the blue thing, the page 17. Yeah, so page 17, you'll see that it says there's a section called 3.2. Sentence of section 3.2 doesn't have any figures. So we forgot to put the figures in there. But those figures are on page 2, and they are the infrastructure totals are 5.1 million. So that's what the first time you see that in the last sentence, nothing. That's 5.1 million. So the actual reinvestment rate is 3.19%. So those figures were unfortunately left out of this sentence. But the information itself is on page 2, where the discussion of the plan overall, we have a paragraph on page 2, the second last from the bottom, where we discuss how these figures were calculated. So that's the things that we noted that were errors. And yeah, that's it for now. If people wanted to ask questions about it,
Councillor Calvert, Councillor Campa.
So notwithstanding, those errors don't change the fact that this is actually, those errors refer to things that were good news, because we're actually spending more than our requirements right now, which is great news, I guess.
Yes.
It's something we can tell our constituents anyways.
Without a huge increase in taxes.
yeah, I just wanted to elaborate a bit on what Councillor Kampov said. If you take a look at the table, there's not much information to find from other municipalities, because a lot of them don't have any plans on their websites. I don't know why exactly, but of the 3 that I was able to find that were done in the same format as ours, as a funded plan. You see there that got municipality A, B, and C, and they all have, deficits. One 9.8 million, another one 2.7 million. That's annual. 6.1 million, and we are breaking even. So there must be other municipalities in the same position as we are, but I don't know who they are. There are some, of course.
I think it's good to see the 88%, fair or better, our assets are in good standing versus a lot of them. So that's, you don't have to, that shows that we're putting the money towards it and maintaining that.
Right. If I continue just talking about that table a bit, the actual reinvestment rate, which is the second last row on page 92, we have the overall what we're supposed to get 3.07, where the 3 municipalities that I found are in the same format. They're all well below where they're supposed to be. So we are in a position of strength at this time. And the only plan I found that was done in-house is ours.
Hmm.
Maybe some others did that, but I don't know for sure. And anyways, then the other thing, though, you see on page 93, there's always asset management plans are continually improved and updated. And what I found over the years is that your cost forecasts go up because you find out something that you didn't know before. So things get a little more expensive. And that's particularly the case with the buildings because buildings are opaque assets. You don't really know what you got, you know, if they're old, how was it constructed? Do you have any blueprints, things like that? So you only find out what your costs are when you need to do something. So I wouldn't, you can count on our annual requirement going up. But again, in the discussion on page 93, you know, when you read section 7 of our financial, our asset management plan, the growth that we've experienced in the last few years has put us over the top. We're able to address the challenges because we have new tax revenues coming in and we're not building new assets at the same rate. So we're getting ahead of the game.
Councillor Viss.
Well, just a comment on, I flipped through here and so on and so forth, and I said, okay, so what does this all tell me? It's projection. If you look back on the schedule B and you see and so on, that they project X number of dollars we have to spend each year on. But you know, when you stop to think really what it is, your buildings, your roads, your culverts, all have a depreciation value over a number of years. So as long as we stay on that game, does it really matter? I don't need to read 150 pages. Really, you know, and I understand that, you know, my life have to put this together. I'm happy what we're doing it because the results show that in this short report. So I'm good with it. So. Just didn't read it. Not the whole thing. 150 pages, I said, whoa. I just looked at the budget.
Yes.
Do you have any specific questions about our asset management strategies and some of those things? Our asset management coordinator is here. He's able to answer those types of things. I know the high level type stuff, but how we look after our roads and so forth, that's his purview as well as the director of operations.
Yeah. That's right. We can trust them. They're doing a good job. Councillor Peacock. I did.
It's been recorded too. Thank you. I did read this plan and I compared it to the last plan that we received in 2024. So I wasn't on the golf course. So that's anyways, a couple of questions with regard to the bridges and culverts. In comparing the 2024 plan to this one, page 33, it indicates that it's the total replacement cost is the same as it was in the previous plan. And yet, every year we get the budget and the cost of the Hearthstone Bridge continues to go up. And there just doesn't seem to be any indication as to, you know, what the status is of that bridge in this report. I don't know if anyone can answer that.
Wayne might be able to add a bit as well. We do have the Hearthstone Bridge in here, 4 bridges, but I think when we're talking about our annual capital requirement, or actually rather our backlog, I think we've removed it, right? That was kind of a big source of our backlog in previous years. Every time we've kind of presented strategies involving that. I know we've brought some things to council and there's never been much interest, I guess, in addressing that. So I think we've basically said that we're going to not reinvest in that bridge until, you know, the hammer drops, I guess, with our annual bridge inspections. So that's why, yeah, it's captured in the bridges as a replacement cost because it is an asset we own. But until we make a formal decision to axe it, it's going to be there. But I don't think in terms of addressing backlog, or we kind of removed it from there to kind of reflect what we think we're actually doing or have interest in doing.
So it's there, but it's not there? Kind of,
Yes, I mean, we've,
we can't avoid it, put it that way.
no, but we have, yeah, I guess that's just a decision that we can't make. It's when we bring reports, to council with recommendations from engineers, we need those to be addressed or not, I guess. And I think historically it's been not.
Okay, my second question is with regard to page 105, the sanitary sewer network. This is, there's been no change in the total replacement costs. And it says the municipality estimates to assume these as assets in about 5 years. That was the same timeline that was provided to us in the previous plan. So do we have an update? And I'm sure this is going to cost us more than the total replacement cost that was previously estimated. Any
So-
idea on the water treatment plant takeover?
So through the chair, those negotiations are ongoing. There, we are actively engaged with the city of Thunder Bay to secure the water agreement in our name. At that point in time, there is a 1-year moratorium, let's call it, in the negotiations, final negotiations with the current service provider for that system before we take it over. We also reserve in that agreement, if I'm speaking off the cuff a little bit, we reserve the right to retain an engineer to do an evaluation of all the infrastructure in the changeover. If I may say I'm speaking out of turn, but I believe that's the way it's worded. That report will be brought to council prior to the takeover in regards to what the deficit, and it'll justify these numbers that we're currently carrying. The numbers haven't changed because that was the cost that was provided with CPI added and our strategy in regards to inflationary numbers that we put in our plan from the original cost of the subdivision back in the day. So it's 23 years of CPI inflated costs that gets you to this. The actual condition of the thing is assumed with a specified lifespan of sanitary sewers. I believe it's 50 years. Is it 50 years on sanitary?
I'd have to look.
Yeah, whatever the strategy is, creates the long-term objective with our service level. But there will be a snapshot in time when that comes to the table before we take it over, where these numbers will be justified and there'll be an engineered report done on the condition status of all the stuff before we take it on.
Councillor Vince.
Yes, coming back exactly what you're saying there, a number of years back, I can't remember it was, they came to us to wanted us to take that over. And in the agreement we have with that provider that's there, he's supposed to have reserves in there because there's the depreciation number as it goes along. And there was no reserves, so said we're not touching it. And after that, we never heard any more from them because that's where we're at. So as far as I'm concerned, the original contract states he has to have reserves for replacement. So if he doesn't have that, we don't have to take it over.
So as through the chair, as I mentioned, there'll be an analysis of the infrastructure deficit or there'll be a rating done by a third party prior to us taking that on, which will show our long-term potential costs and our long-term impact to our asset management plan. And we're probably a year or so plus away yet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult for us to answer much question about the whitewater because we don't run it. So it's a problem area in the asset management plan for sure, eh? But and you don't change your estimates and so forth if you don't have anything better to go with. So
The contract states that, well, so what? It's eventually going to ease right up to level.
Councillor Peacock.
Thank you. Now, moving on to page 134. That's the water network map. When we upgraded the system in Roslyn, does this map need to be updated as well now? Because it is dated, I think, I don't know if it's 2019 or 2022, but anyways, did we not put in more curb stops or do something like that with regard to that system? I could be wrong, but
This is the map from the work that was done a
Okay.
few years ago.
all right. And we did purchase quite a bit of equipment over the past couple of years, whether it be fire trucks or public works equipment, Zambonis, things like that. Have they been allocated into this report to, as far as?
Yeah, most of it should be added in there.
Most of it should be, okay.
Like the equipment we have is in there as far as we know, if we've had it for more than a little bit.
Yes, Mike?
Yeah, well, this plan is based on what we had in August 2025. So last time we had audited financial statements was 2024. So of course, there's always a lag in having your information right up to date.
Mhm. It's a growing, or it's a working, report.
Document.
Asset management doesn't stay standard. It doesn't sit still. Yes.
Well, that just reminds me to, there's a note in this report on the bottom of page 91. And what that is differentiating between this written report that is a snapshot in time type thing that we need to provide to government and funders and stakeholders, et cetera, and your working management plan, asset management plan, which we use all the time, where every year we update information in it, et cetera, and the managers use that in doing their budget calculations, et cetera. So this paper thing is out of date. Yeah, definitely. What's in the system today will have more up-to-date information.
Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Just one further comment. So with regard to the financials, I would think then that if this is based on August of 2025, that any of the information or the investments that we put into the JIB and things like that aren't allocated in this report at all?
No, they wouldn't be, no.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so we do have a resolution that's been moved and seconded and that has been added as amended, which was okay with the two signers. Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item we have is a resolution in regards to having vulnerable sector checks mandatory for employees and volunteers who are involved with school tours and events involving children at the OPHP. It has been moved and seconded, and it's open for discussion. Yes, Councillor Bess. Oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Kapoff. I was looking at you. I thought your hand was up.
So, yeah, so I was at the museum meeting when this was discussed. We had a spirited discussion about it. One thing that I looked a little bit into it, didn't spend a lot of time on it, but I was just curious what the procedure is to actually get.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
But I did note in looking, I believe it was the City of Thunder Bay Police website, which would be what we would be going through because they're our service provider. There is, we had a discussion at the board about how broad it needs to be, whether it needs to be for everybody, whether it needs to be just people that are working with children. And there was some cautionary stuff on the website that you have to have a valid reason to be able to be requiring people to do this. So I'm certainly not in a position to determine what that is, but that's something before we enact something like this, we need to make sure we get all of our ducks in a row and make sure that we're not asking people to do this when it's not really required.
I've had a few of them done for myself of different groups I'm on. If it involves children, you have to do it.
Yeah, and that's pretty clear. So, but it's there, and there's different levels of check, right? There's a police check, there's a vulnerable sector check, and so it's, like I said, not an expert on it, but I know there's some details that we need to make sure that we get correct. So it's just as something I picked up.
Councillor Viss?
Well, this was my question, is what's the difference between a police check and verbal check? Is it the same?
Don't know the answer.
Because I've had to do that a number of times, but I wondered, well, what is this? Is that something else?
Sean is,
Yeah, so the fire department does these vulnerable sector checks for everybody, and all it is, and it's a personal abuse kind of check, so that they don't have things like pedophiles and things like that, into the vulnerable sector, which is typically children, but it can also be elderly.
Yes.
Elderly.
So, and then the police check is more into criminal stuff, is my understanding, so that's what the
Okay,
difference.
all right. I-
And it's the check is done based on where you live. So we have people that are sometimes OPP they have to go to, or City of Thunder Bay. So it depends on your address in terms of the policing. So, OPP, I don't think you pay for it. The city police should do.
You'd-
And I think the city police has typically got a backlog, so it takes more time for them. Although sometimes the OPP can be 3 or 4 months before you get the sector check.
So just a question to that. So being our park and all our Papoons, can we automatically go to OPP then?
No, it's based on your address in the
Where I live?
policing.
Oh,
No, you'd be the police force here, but if you lived on Highway 1117 or 130, then you're on OPP highway or
I
area.
see, oh, dear. Okay.
So it's the same check, it's just a different agency, but if you go to the City of Thunder Bay Police, they'll tell you, no, you don't, and it's all online for them.
Yeah, you just do it, yeah, you do it online,
But
yeah.
it'll say you have to go to the OPP to get it done.
Yeah, and there's a cost. I think it was 90 something dollars.
Yeah, it's gone up. It was
Yeah, the
25.
last one I saw, not for myself, but for another person, was like 90 something for the
Whoa.
check. But again, the museum would pay
Yeah.
the person's back if they
Just
took.
want to point that out. We did have that discussion because there was some pushback from some board members about how this could be a cost that's unreasonable to ask a volunteer to pay. And yeah, I'm fully in support of if the municipality's asking for
Yeah,
people
they
to do
should pay
this,
for
we should be paying for it.
Yes.
Just provide, they give you a bill and you provide that to show that you actually did have the check done in your past, and then you'll get the money back.
And you also have to provide a letter that authorizes. So for me, I have a letter from the chief that authorizes that this person is part of this organization.
Mhm.
I think that's to your point, Bernie, of who has to have it. They don't just do it if you call them up. You've
No.
got to have a letter saying why.
A museum would have to supply them with a letter.
So then one further question, I guess that's to Camp Pub, is you said there was some issues, whether, are you full support of us approving this as?
I'm in support of it, but it
Okay.
was not universal at the board level that everybody thought it was a good idea. But that's up to individuals on the board, so.
Mhm.
So
But the
you're recommending-
the board as a whole made the decision to
Okay.
move
That's
forward.
all I wanted to know, make sure that's what they wanted.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Counselor Peacock?
And having said that, if it's for school tours, we've got, 3 days of school left, so it won't be a big rush on
No.
vulnerable
Probably
check
for
for
next
this
year.
year. Yeah, moving forward, yes.
Okay.
Anything further? Okay, so the resolution has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, and then we have our extra report that we had in regards to the public meeting or public open house by the WSP in regards to the MTO highway change or building talking points.
It was emailed to us. Wayne had emailed?
Yeah,
Read it.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
You're talking about this one here?
Yes,
That was
yeah.
emailed, okay.
Yeah, not everyone has a copy, so we'll get some
Okay.
brought to us and we'll.
Good turnout.
yeah, I hear there were a lot. I had a few questions about who was that guy they were interviewing. 2 people didn't know who you were, but that was only 2 out of 5, so pretty good average.
Your name was on it.
The name is on.
I know, no, I know. But I did receive comments about how professional you were.
I tried to pass on the responsibility to Councillor Peacock, but she,
You gave it to him.
it's like, yeah,
I got a couple of calls from Hollywood, but.
Yeah.
yeah.
Looking for a 007.
Yeah.
I hear there were a lot of people. I was there early at the beginning, but
Yeah, I showed up at about, I think I must have just missed you because I was there at about 4:30, but it was,
yeah.
I pulled in, I'm like, whoa.
There were people when I left,
Mhm.
I left just before 4 and there were all people already coming that were waiting in their vehicles till they could
Yeah.
at the right time to come in.
And
Yeah, I went a little later on and then hindsight says I should have come. I thought there'd been more people at that time because after work they would stop in there. But
Yeah.
anyway, fair amount of people there. So
same,
I think that I overheard them at the end of the night. They said they had over 300 people sign.
oh,
good.
So that was good.
And I
And
looked in the box what they had for
the comments.
comments was half full.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
There's a lot in there. Mine's in there. I said, good
Yes.
job.
I did feel for the presenters or the ones that were helping because, and I know we all do that, but because the presentation is in regards to an MTO project, everyone assumes these people are working for the MTO.
I know.
And they're not. It's the engineering group that they are
That's right.
employed by. So that sometimes that puts them in a different.
there was MTO
position.
staff there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They weren't, yeah. I mean, it was the same group of
Same
questions
people.
from everybody I spoke with. When is this happening?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then the other comment, why don't they build a highway from
Chappaqua.
Wraith to Nipigon or
Yes,
whatever,
right
go
across
the
north.
top, which is, I mean,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
would be.
One lady, there were quite a few people in the audience and she was filling out the paperwork and she said, just kind of called everyone's attention and said, we need to have a town hall. We need to have all these questions answered. A lot of people were disappointed that there weren't, they weren't able to like have a public forum where you could stand up and ask a specific question. So that's kind of what they were anticipating would happen. So.
I have,
That's-
I have already.
I understand why they don't do that.
Everyone's getting one.
I got mine. I printed it off.
Very good. Okay, so this is what we have here just to discuss it. We have been discussing. So, Counselor Campuff.
So is this supposed to represent this council or this municipality's official opinion on the whole process, or is that what the intent of this is, or?
No, it's to facilitate discussion.
Okay, because well, as the first point, the entire Highway 1117 rerouting and widening project is unnecessary and should be abandoned. I would disagree with that wholeheartedly, because I mean, there's improvements certainly are welcome, and I think we should not be discouraging the province from investing in the highway infrastructure around here.
But something that's going to be about 20 years before they even do it. And it's just going to put the trucks right back where
Oh,
they're going now. That makes
that's-
no sense.
That's true, but I mean, if they say we're gonna either do some rerouting and widening or you get nothing, I mean, it's still going to take traffic. There's better options than what was presented, absolutely, but it's still an improvement and it still does take, the trucks off the section from Vibert to Kakabeka, so. I mean, I don't think we should be encouraging the province to just run away and not spend any money around here.
No. But if they started at the other end and then built the bridge and then just do it.
Reevaluate it, maybe not just end it.
And this point was brought to my attention as well, which is true, is that at one point in time, they did a study there at Hodder Avenue. Oh yeah, we've got to spend all this money and put this kind of thing here because of all the truck traffic. And 10 years later, and plus 10 years, they do it when there is no more truck traffic. So it is kind of, and you do the studies now. Hodder Avenue didn't have the mills anymore, so you didn't have all the truck traffic going down there and didn't have to have all that interchange on 1117. So it seemed kind of useless now. So I would imagine they're doing this study now, but another 10 years, they'll do another study again. because things will have changed.
Well, yeah, I kind of agree with that. I highlighted the number 2 here. We specifically opposed Part A, portion from Vibe Road to Keckleback Falls. There's no doubt about that in my mind, that that's exactly what we got opposed the way it is. That's what all I heard from all people in there. And a number of people said, what can we do to help? And I said, well, the more people that oppose that, and if you put that together, I will bring it to council, and I think that'll be a help. So I made a copy of it. So for everyone, that what they put together, if you'll pass it around. And that'll just tie right into what, oh, sorry. That you guys have put together, like CO and the mayor. So that'll tie that to it. We can maybe, if we write the province, we can use some of that. They sat together and put this together. And I said there were some key points that were really valuable. Maybe we could use that when we write the province. Also yesterday, I was at the Whitewater, and there was a table full of people there. I didn't know who they all were, but anyway, the one gentleman, Jason Veltri, I knew when he came to see me. He asked me if he could have a few minutes. I said, sure. And he said, NOMA, at the present time, they need to have a meeting with Oliver Papoonge in person or otherwise, because they have, at the end of the year, or the end of the day, they've heard different proposals. And I said, well, the only things you have to consider is Oliver Papoonge and economy. If you hear anything else out of that doesn't mean anything. So I was so happy to see that, because today we will make a decision that we abandon Part A. And if Conmy says that, I think our CEO should contact Veltri and say, this is our stance, the municipality of Oliver. And if Conmy does the same, then it's it, because he said NOMA right now has the year of the province. And he said, we need to be all on that same page. If we hear different things coming, we're not going anywhere. And I agreed with him to that. That has to. So I said, I would be bringing that up. So I think if maybe Wayne even contact him, say, well, what are you hearing? And if we decide today that's exactly what we want to do, then we should ask Conmy, do you agree with that? And then that clears up that issue. So it was very interesting. So, but yeah, as I met people there at that meeting, I said, well, if you can support us by putting something down that we can help to send to the ministry, all the better. So some people sat down and presented that to me, and I said, well, I'll pass it on. There was some very good points in there. So anyway, so that's my take on it. And also yesterday there was a table with 4 business people. I knew them all, and they hollered at me, make sure that road. So there's a lot of interest in there that it's done right. So.
I would just maybe add to that letter, we're opposed to Part A at this time.
Yeah, it could be.
Because later on, when they do have the whole section with the bridge, they are going to be putting another road in there. You don't want to be opposed to it forever, but
It's
at
just
this
an
time.
indication. I said, if whatever you put down and what we can take of it, if you have no objection to that, they said no. If you use anything, fine. If you don't use anything, it's okay too. These are some people that got together and put some of these issues, because, for instance, one company said, well, they're going right through my land. What happens to the portion that I said, well, you're not going to have access. The only access you're going to have is somebody from the pole line allow you to come in, because it's landlocked.
And absolutely, that's unfortunate for that landowner, and certainly empathize with them. But the reality is, if they're going to be building highway infrastructure, they're going to be doing that to people's land, and that's going to happen to people.
right.
And you're never going to be able to, mitigate all those effects. That's going to happen, right? So yeah, I'm in favor of what the mayor had said earlier, that we need to indicate that we're, at this time, we're opposed to the way they've presented it. To be fair, they haven't really presented a timeline. So they haven't presented that they may be planning to do the other section first. They haven't really said what they're doing, because they haven't given us any timeline.
Right.
But to say we're opposed to this plan A because it's going to go across a bunch of private property, we're not going to get anywhere with that, because if they're going to be bypassing Kakabeka, they have to have private property affected. It's just going to happen. Like
Yeah.
that's an unrealistic expectation, I think.
Okay, so if I may add to that, and the ministry personnel that was there, I said, what is wrong with what you had in the 70s. Why are disband? He said, we're not disbanding that property that we end up and I said, what did you just say? He said, probably if we have to cross the bridge or the river, that's where it'll be. Well, then what? I said to myself, what the heck are you doing? Now, he's way down the ladder here. And I thought, if there's thoughts about that, we better be getting to these top boys and don't start wasting millions of dollars here and then discontinue this and go back up where you're originally going to be. So that was the statement I was picked up, and I just didn't know what the answer to that. So take it from what it's worth. That was exactly his word. They're not banned up because that's probably where they will end up going over. But another fellow called me yesterday morning. He Googled it. If you go further enough north, the river and the track turn, and you cross the river there without even going across. But you don't have to cross the river, nothing, go on beyond it. But then I thought it must circle somewhere through there because where does that?
You have to cross the river.
I think
There's no way around it.
Yeah, I thought they
Like
did.
that.
He said they Googled it and they could both turn.
No.
And I don't know how far north it is. I have no idea.
Like 102, once you go 2 miles, the river's right there. When you go, so
Yeah.
it close.
But
There's
that's
no,
my thing, but anyway. Yeah, so it's very interesting, not very many good comments, so.
Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. I don't know if anyone else had read the article in the newspaper editorial. One of our local residents had submitted it to the newspaper with regard to safety concerns. And he is a lawyer, and I felt that the letter was very well written. And so I reached out to him to thank him for submitting that, and he provided me with another letter that he has sent on to the ministry. So I'll provide that to Wayne. That could perhaps be shared and on file here, whatever. Yep, so he has shared it with the ministry and the engineering firm, as far as I know. But definitely expressing his concern with regard to safety and litigation aspect of accidents and things like that. So
There'll be a lot of
you.
work coming for the fire department too, because there'll be a lot of crossings that won't happen. They won't be there. So you're gonna have to decide who fights what fire where.
Sorry, I think we lose 2 of the crossings north-south.
You have one at Twin City and you have one at Fraser.
Yeah, and then, but there's 2 of them that are gonna improve and 2 of them that we don't. And it's off the top of my head, I don't know what
Yeah.
2, but they're in between the designated crossings that they put in the map.
I do know I looked at it and I thought, well, these farmers are going to have to find a way to get their hay from that to the other, but that's part of the deal. And you see that all over through Trans-Canada Pipeline, moving east or west as people have to change the routes. My 10-minute route to my sister means it's going to become a 20-minute route because I'm going to kick it back and go over the highway and then back again. So there's people have to learn. Things are going to be different. But it just seems to me that it's not the right timing. Yes.
So Councillor Viss mentioned he had been talking to somebody about the route from the 1970s. A lot of the route that was presented at the meeting last week was similar, and maybe Chris would know, was similar to, I mean, they haven't materially changed a lot of it. It's on the same corridor that they've been working on for 50 whatever years. Yeah.
Yeah, I think through the chair, I think what Councillor Viss was talking about was the end goal
Yeah.
to cross the river and show up to
Kakwa.
it's not part of this retainer function that they're looking at, but I don't think they're gonna deviate from that plan from the 70s.
No.
It's not even being what we're doing now with this phase of the project. We're 2 years in on this project right now, no capital allocation, no timeline. They haven't even started year 0 on the next piece, and
That's
it's
right.
not on the radar.
No.
So
But again, no, I think somebody needs to get a hold of Jason Veltri though and make sure the 2 municipalities are on the same page of what we want. Because if Noma's going to take it to the province, we better be all on that same page. So, and that's why I said if Wayne maybe gives him a call and say, what are you hearing and where are we at? We need to make a decision today. Do we support that proposal, and I'm against that proposal, but it's the majority rules.
And any of the third note there, it does talk about the objective was to get the Trans-Canada truck traffic off the current 1117 through Conmy and Oliver Punj. I think they should add Kekabeka Falls because that's the main concern we have is them going through the village. So,
That not covered in the next one?
yeah. Oh. Any other comments? Yes, Councillor Campuff.
So this letter that Councillor Viss handed out, so who wrote this?
Number of people.
Number
got
of people?
together and presented to me. They asked me at the meetings, I
Yeah.
said, well, if anything that you
Yeah.
objection to, we appreciate your help, and they sat down and then they ordered it to me.
I personally, I'm in agreement with most of certainly the whole premise of it. One thing I would point out, and I certainly can be corrected if I'm wrong, but they're referring to the meeting last week as a designated truck route open house. That was not a designated truck route open house. That was an open house for the expansion of the corridor. It's confused, I guess, by the designated truck route, which is just a thing from the city of Thunder Bay, which is, pushing things into moving a little faster, certainly. But I heard that from quite a few people that, they're the designated truck route thing, but that's had nothing to do really with the designated truck route. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea that they're talking about the province, or whoever wrote this is talking about the province needs to look at a whole plan that's going to address the entire issue across the region and not just piecemeal it. And I would be in favor of integrating these comments into whatever we're going to be working with.
And I think that really was their intent.
Yeah.
They'll put stuff together, and if there's some things that is of value that we can to add to ours, please use it.
Yeah.
It's there for us to use, and I said, thank you very much, appreciate your input.
Yeah, it was good that they did this.
Yeah, there was another resident who had provided quite a detailed summary of his concerns, and that was on social media, so perhaps we can include that as well, so.
Yeah. But that looks very familiar.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of not sure what we're doing here. We're going to be writing a letter to NOMA about this, or a letter to MTO, our comments on it, official comments? Is that what we're doing?
I think this was open for public comment on whatever the,
I believe if we're going to put this back to MTO, just send it off to NOMA as well.
Well-
This is what we're proposing. Like,
Well,
how can
these
you
are our
guys help
concerns.
us, right?
yeah.
That's
You talked to Jason too last week
Oh.
before that too, about it. And they would like to know what's going on, basically, just to
Yeah.
keep them informed so that they can
Send them a
obviously
copy.
help
Sure, send them a copy.
political voice, yeah. The only thing I would say, the only thing positive is doing what we could call part B of that thing. If we want to put a positive thing to the MTO, I would say, yes, we're in agreement with making that four lanes from the express all the way out to, like, as far as I'm concerned, that's a positive thing. That'll thin the traffic moving out, spread it out more, so it's not all congested. And then I think that would help.
Yeah, that was a 4-laning to Mapleboard or, yeah.
Yeah.
City.
Twin City, like all the way out
Yeah.
wherever the transition would be back down to 2 lanes. I think that would be a big help. So as a positive thing, maybe we could say to the MTO, we're in agreement with that, like I am. I don't know
Mhm.
what the rest of the council is, but
Certainly.
I definitely am, because I think that will help.
I have a question about on this debriefing report. It's on the second page of it. If MTO is going to do it, don't go across the Spence landfill.
Yes,
So council seems that as a valid point.
yes. Not to go over the
And then
land.
there's the not so nice point after that, where Get absolutely compensated if you're going there.
That's, oh yeah, it's not gonna be a cheap one. They did, and they also showed the alternate route, which went down.
Yeah.
That they eliminated the landfill. It stayed away from the landfill site. Yes,
So I don't feel comfortable just trying to write down what council's thinking. I think it'd be better if we pass a resolution that I will write a letter and the mayor will approve it, and the two of us will write a letter based on this discussion. If we're gonna get something done today. Is that,
Council.
or until our next meeting, July 14th?
Yeah, and I think I said that at the open house and I was quoted media. Two things. Number one, we would like to get something resolved with all the traffic going through Kakabeka. And number two, equally, if not as important, we're concerned about impacts to our landfill. And the rest of it is details that certainly are important, but those are the two main points I think that this council needs to push forward. Like this letter too, there's talking about downloading provincial traffic to municipal infrastructure. We don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, if they had a better highway all the way through, there should be less traffic on some of our roads.
well, and my suggestion to them was when they do have the whole thing completed, that is present 1117 be now the continuance of Highway 130, so it's still a provincial bill.
Yeah, we certainly don't need.
We don't need
we
that
don't
on
need
our
to take, but
end.
that's a totally separate conversation.
I know,
They
but-
can't force us to take it, can they?
I don't think so, but I don't
Of course,
know.
no. I mean, hopefully the council of the day doesn't get convinced by shiny things and whatever they offer.
They give it to us, Twin
Yeah.
City down to the overpass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years ago? Here you are, here's your money. This is yours now.
You
That
were
was
going to
it.
comment
Yeah.
on that?
There was no,
There,
I know you would like to keep part of it
they just.
for us so that we
said
could have
this is
more
yours.
entrances and more businesses.
Through the chair, yeah, the incorporation of shiny things with a dollar figure attached is attractive, but when they did transfer the Twin City Crossroads piece, there was some tomfoolery there where it wasn't deemed a connecting link. And then the connecting link trigger, when you join two municipally significant provincial highways, in this case, Highway 130 and Highway 1117, that's a true connecting link.
Yes,
There should be funding there, annual funding transfers. That was missed in that agreement. So any further acquisitions, we have to ensure that we get that connecting link agreement in place on the whole network, because you're looking at some fairly extensive infrastructure.
mhm,
You're looking at structures that are reaching end of life, specifically the one at Jelly. It's due again. We did that one in 1999, I believe, so it's coming due again. So yeah, the shiny trinkets are nice with a big thing, but the trick is the long-term funding model for it, and it has to be deemed connecting link before administration would even entertain it, and it's got to be a big number.
right, okay. Councilor Peacock?
I do believe that at the meeting, when they had the forms that you could complete, I think there was a deadline as to when you could submit your information to the MTO or your concerns. So perhaps we can check their website just to see if there's a deadline that they need this information.
There is a
For-
deadline. I
Yes.
can't come to it right now, but there is a deadline.
Hmm.
Councilor Viss.
well, and I still think we need to do something to say that Plan A from Vibrant Road to Kakabeka, as presented, council is not in favor of that, as it not resolves the issue of traffic going through the village of Kakabeka or to the municipality of Conwy.
Mhm.
And I think, and that's the only reason we're objecting to it.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
doesn't, and I think Bernie had said that a bit earlier in the way he put it. So if we put that type of a thing, that's all the reason we are objecting to that proposal, it doesn't solve our issue.
No.
Because we have a fire department, we have the ambulances, we have the senior place, so we gotta get them out of Quebec. And so if we can put something to that extent, I think the rest of us all agree with it. It's a good thing to do. But you haven't solved the issue by doing that. So why are you doing it? You spend all that money.
Requested by July 18th.
Okay.
That's on WSP's website.
Anyway, that's my take. I mean, I think as long as we all agree, that's the only reason. We certainly
Yeah.
want 4 laning. But the issue that the plan that it presented there does not resolve our issue. And I think that message has to go.
Mm.
And as long as we keep that message clear and straight, we're fine.
And the route has to be removed from our landfill site, has to be
Oh, yeah.
taken away from our landfill site, yeah.
And
Yes,
either way though, Mayor Lucy, down there, we still end up where we are. The only way it doesn't affect our landfill site if we go to the original one, because they just take off a little Spence Road and then we'll have to come in to town line, pole line, which is not the end of the world. But see, so I guess they should get the message if we tell them that.
So at this time, we're going to provide a letter to council on July 14th and then issue that.
Okay, but can you get Conmy's take on that, like run that by them and say, do you people support it? Because we need to be both on the same phenomena to take it to the province.
mhm,
Okay.
certainly
In
do
the
that.
meantime, there's some media, people may call and ask what we are up to. I imagine
No
it's up to the mayor to summarize these thoughts that we've
Okay.
heard.
Fair enough.
Okay,
And perhaps that, like
Yes.
Counselor Campoff said, to reword that first bullet, because
yeah, we can go through it, work on it and have it for their next meeting and then it can go the next day. Okay, sure, and we can talk to Sheila at Conmy, yeah.
Would you contact Jason though and say what our plan is, that we are working on it and see if that works within their schedule meeting with the province? I think
I can do that.
they would like to have that before they meet with the province.
Okay, so I didn't, yeah,
We'll bring a draft letter then to the next meeting.
That's fair enough.
all righty, so we have a no, we don't, this was just for information only. Now we have bylaws. The contract with BACX Inc., Office Airflow Study. That bylaw has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have the bylaw to contract R&R Engineering to service the Red Barn assessment. Any discussion? The bylaw has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Carried. We have petitions and communication action items. There was the Highway 11 and 17 rest stop areas that we had in our meeting last meeting. And it was asked that it be brought back again for a resolution.
Support that.
Okay, so this is a resolution that will be sent to them, supporting the one from the Township of Armor.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then we have the provincial review of current value assessment. And that was also asked to be brought back to council from last meeting. Resolution has been moved and seconded. Yes,
Just for clarification, that this affects us because that's what's happening in our area now with the communities north or west, east of us and so on, that we don't get the fair share of how it should be divided. Is that correct, Wayne?
I think what this letter's about is they need to review how they calculate levies.
Yeah.
That's what they're getting at.
That throws it way out of whack. Okay, thank you. I thought that's what it was. Thank you.
Never talked about this before, have I?
No.
yeah, and they are talking about how to use the current value assessment and weighted assessment as a basis for mandating levies, which has always been our concern.
Well, and I guess one thing that's encouraging now is these charts, they could have just changed the names from, Thunder Bay or North Bay to Thunder Bay, and we could have been any one of these other municipalities. So the fact that it's happening in other areas is encouraging that,
Just
we
it
have
proves that
basically
we've been going the right
the
way.
exact same issue here.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then there was the establishment of a Northern Ontario policing grant. That also came from our last meeting. It has been moved and seconded, the resolution. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? No, I didn't see lots of hands, so all in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then we have the proclamation in regards to flag raising and illumination, Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day and month. And we have modernizing Ontario's invasive plant rules. No comments. We have, for information only, the DSAB 2025 levy operating surplus. Pardon? Yes, any money back we'll accept. Under new business, Councillor Peacock.
I note that on our website, it indicates the South Landfill site will be closed on the 1st of July, but will open on the Thursday. Am I correct with that? Yes? Okay,
That's what's posted.
righty. And a question for administration, perhaps. How are service requests monitored? It was my understanding that service request process was to be used to identify, like if we get a whole pile of concerns with service requests required on different roads, et cetera, that would be how we would decide how monies would be allocated the following year in a budget to repair that road or fix a sign or things like that. Anyways, people send in service requests. You get an automated response that your service request has been received by the municipality, but then there's no further follow-up. So I'm just wondering how those items are looked after.
Through the chair, the service requests that come through the Public Works Department are screened daily. They come to my phone instantly when they come through. They do not, I would say, shape future budgets, specific to the spring season, let's call it. Potholes are an issue, and when, thank God we're not the city of Thunder Bay, but that dispatch person, we had a meeting yesterday and they said it's just nonstop, and we're not that. We have a 2-week window where we get inundated with concerns. We dispatch daily based on that. And my tour in the morning will identify the ones that we have to deal with when they become a certain size. 9 times out of 10, we get those before the person calls. At that point in time, there's a weekly meeting with the foremans of where we're at, and we close off those ones as we can. And we tend to group certain areas to maintain efficiency. We don't run to one that came in at 10 in the morning. We don't run to the south side and then we blitz an area. We do as much as we can and we move on. Specific to the one I believe you're talking about, we are aware of that situation. But right now, what is going on is that we have the surface treatment contractor showing up here Monday. Our focus with the limited staff we have, because everybody's on holidays, holidays have started, potholes were done. So then when the immediate needs are done, we tend to downsize our department and focus on our capital works projects that we have to get done by a certain time. So these things remain open, and we do a review probably every 2 weeks on open service requests through my department, and we allocate resources as required.
Okay, Sean?
So for the fire department, I get a notification when a service request is in and it's followed up based on a priority of what the call is. Many times it takes a long time to get it closed because it's a phone tag situation. People don't return calls. And then they may stay open for a while on the site until I get a chance to go in and put the outcome of what happened with the service request. So if somebody calls for a question about something, it gets closed once I have time to go in and enter what the call happened. So they are monitored. Some of them are open for a long time because it's just a long-term issue, but
Okay, yes.
excuse me for a minute, as well, there's only so much time in a day. We will actively recruit the ones that are most important and we will get those ones cleared off first. There's certain issues out there right now. I know there's still 2 mailboxes that aren't replaced from the winter. I get that. It's just not a priority at this time. The mailboxes still function. The people, some will be very amicable, but we do a drive-in, we do take a look and we base the need on when we have to get there. And there's a couple right now that are scheduled for 7th, 8th of July when I have staff back, once the capital work program's underway.
Yes.
The other question is this Pine Street? Are we all done in Roslyn?
Through the chair, it looks vaguely familiar, yes.
So that project is complete then in the village?
Through the chair, we were done in 21 days flat.
Okay. Counselor Campoff, any new business? None? Counselor Calvert?
I see the roadside cutting grass cutting started now. Did we 2 cuts or is that just a one-time thing?
Through the chair, we traditionally do 2 cuts. We are a little later start this year. Again, same with our grass cutting division of community services. It just goes boom and then you gotta go. And unfortunately, the way the spring was this year, we had a little bit of heat in May, not enough moisture, and then the moisture came and it went. We would love to be in every kilometer road at the same time, just physically impossible. Our target is about 18 to 22 kilometers a day per side. That's our target. So we try to do 9 kilometers of road per day. Do the math, that's 33 days for
Yeah.
1 cut. So traditionally, the tractor goes out 15th of June, 10th of June, something like that. This year it's later because the demand wasn't there, but from the 10th of June till now, it's shot
gone.
right up. So we will be 2 complete cuts, and then actually last year, we actually did almost half that got 3, so.
And just another thing will be the wrap up this weekend, starting, I think the Thursday will be double MAA wrap up, so look forward to that.
Through the chair, we're borrowing picnic tables from the museum based on their schedule to supplement. Community Services is doing that right now to get the seating arrangements available for the wind up, so.
That's nice.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Viss?
No, fine.
Nothing. Okay. Administration, did you have anything more? Fire department? Finance? Director of operations? Nothing more?
Through the chair, no, I will make we will be starting bridge improvements on Candy Mountain Road. There's a notice going out today on our website that there will be lane restrictions in place for the next 8 weeks, but no overnight closures. We have contractors working on narrow 1-lane bridges, so obviously it's going to be a challenge. People are going to have to just wait. They will clear the way. We have 1 overnight closure for 7 days at the 3rd week of August, and that'll be posted a long time ahead at the site and on our website, where we're actually physically taking down all the railing systems. So it's going to be impossible to allow traffic over there.
Mhm.
We're gonna put it back up, yes. No, it's a 1-week scheduled shutdown. We're taking the existing railings off, send them away, sandblast, paint, fabricate, and back installed in 7 days. That's been,
Whoa.
yeah, it's gonna be a challenge, but we have everybody on board to do that, so.
Perfect planning.
We are actively recruiting for photos and ads for the calendar. So if anyone has any photos, please send them. We're gonna put some more ads on our socials and in the newsletter as well.
Okay, terrific. All righty. So we have a resolution to move into closed session. It's been moved and seconded, the time being 10:40 a.m. All in favor? Opposed? We will now have a 5-minute break. Thank you. convene the council meeting to continue with business at hand, the hour being 11:50 a.m. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We have a resolution that the minutes of the special closed session meeting held on June the 8th be approved. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We have a resolution moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the closed session meeting held on June the 9th. All in favor? Opposed? And we have a resolution that the minutes of the special closed session meeting held on June the 15th has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we have a resolution confirming our present meeting. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? And we have a resolution adjourning the meeting, the time being 11:51 a.m. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Done. Thank you very much.